Looking at the lineup for the Hooligan final, current championship standings, well, obviously tight after the opening event of the season. Gary Inman is the key rider because he finished second at the opening event of the campaign, and not all of the riders who, for those of you at home, feature on this graphic are actually taking part here this afternoon at what is round number 2. Gary Inman effectively the points leader as long as he can pick up 4 points or more from this grand final here, and since he lines up off the front row, that looks pretty likely. Ross Sharp just behind him by 2 points, and he's also had a good innings so far here today, but it looks to me as though he's lining up off the back row, which is going to present him some difficulty after 2 runner-up positions during the heats. Ferran Mas then, Dimitri Costa alongside Gary Inman. It's Costa who makes the fastest start. Ferran Mas there on the inside line, briefly in second position, but soaring around the outside to take up the race lead is Johnny Lewis, who's making the break. And already in the early stages of the race, it looks like a battle for second. Johnny Lewis is away and gone. Dimitri Costa on the outside. Ferran Mas coming through now for P2. Race on for 5th position. Chris Walker dropping back as we lose Dimitri Costa down into the safety fence hard on turn number 1. And unfortunately, 2 riders down. Do have an air barrier here on turn number 1. And unfortunately, that's the first significant crash of the day in this live action arena. A look back at the incident that caused the early stoppage. We were into the final in the Hooligan class, the first of 2 finals here this afternoon. In the Hooligans this season, we've got 2 point-scoring rounds here at Peterborough. So today's will be a standalone point-scoring round, and tomorrow will be another standalone point-scoring round. That's not the same in the DTRA event. We've got the point-scoring round is today, so that's going to add extra impetus to today's event. The race at the time was between Ferran Mas and Dimitri Costa, and then further down the field you can see the battle for 5th position. Unfortunately, because they were side by side further back, when Dimitri Costa went down and Ferran Mas was away and gone on the inside line, the others all had to pile in, and once again we take another look at that one. Dimitri Costa on the 87 bike on the outside line, Ferran Mas going for the inside on the number 30. Further back, Walker on the inside line on the 41, just losing position. The 44 coming back around the outside line, manages to avoid, but then Tim Orcott catches the leg of Dimitri Costa, and that's what sends him swerving off towards the safety fence. And then because the safety fence is already down, that acts like a ramp to send Tim Orcott over the top of the fence. Well, great to see the riders reprising their roles, including Chris Walker, the number 41, on the inside of the middle row, for the second time of asking on the final. And again, it's a good start for Johnny Lewis. Second place with Ferran Mas. Gary Inman going with him from 3rd position. Down the back straight, Chris Walker up in 5th place, challenging on the inside of Ross Herod. Herod was one of the riders involved in the crash first time out, so great to see him back up to his feet and taking part in the restaging, although he does look a little bit worse for wear and drops back from 4th position and down to P5. It's Johnny Lewis in front then, Ferran Mas in 2nd place. Gary Inman, as things stand, would be the championship leader after this race if he holds on in 3rd position, ahead at the moment of Chris Walker in 4th place, and the gap's fairly stagnant at the moment between the top 5 places, although trying to come back at them now is Ross Herod from 5th position, and then a race going on for 6th place behind that group between the 136 of Martin Mills and the number 9 Ross Sharp. So that's all for 6th position, as Sharp looks to the inside of Mills coming off the pits bend. Sharp seems the smoother, but Mills possibly has the pace advantage in the straight. Further up, the battle developing now over 3rd position. Gary Inman, the number 13, holding the inside line, and up the inside of him goes Chris Walker. Walker enjoying probably one of his best rides of the day. He's saved his best until the final. Challenging on the inside of Gary Inman, and he makes the pass on the championship leader. Through goes Chris Walker, and this would deny Gary Inman a place on the podium for the 2nd round of the season. That would mean a completely different podium for round 2 compared to the podium for round 1. Johnny Lewis well on his way. He comes round the final turn and takes the checkered flag. 4 wins out of 4 to win round number 2 in the Hooligan class. Second over the line is Ferran Mas. He seems satisfied enough with that, and an excellent ride from Chris Walker, who makes up 2 positions in the final to gain the final step on the podium, with Gary Inman relegated to 4th position.